I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations through practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations through practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations through practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Dathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Svaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Dathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Svaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Tesham Dathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Svaha. Okay. Okay, we're doing the 4 essentials. Anybody who remembers the 4 essentials by heart on your fingertips? Raise your hands. The 4 essentials on the fingertips. Okay, collectively? Collectively is fine. Okay, tell me, what are they? Essential of? Entails the emptiness of the objective existence of the object. The conclusion? Therefore, emptiness of the objectivity of the object is the objectivity of the object. Good. So we finished which of the essentials? The first one. We're done. So in other words, what we said is that we need to identify the object negation so well. If you don't identify the object negation so well, then you negate it and emptiness will not come. The whole purpose of identifying the object negation is that you negate the object negation and then emptiness should come to your mind. That things are empty object of existence, that emptiness must come to your mind. So that's the point. So with this in mind, the essential number 2 and 3, these two will go together. Okay, let's say that so object negation, we said, what is object negation of emptiness? We said objective existence, true existence, independent existence. So what does it mean by objective existence? And from this consensus that came this morning from the audience, is that objective existence has a connotation of something existing from the object, something existing independent of our subjective mind, right? Okay, so we see that, say that this object, let's say that you are looking at this flower. Okay, just pick up something from your table or from anything. You just pick up something and show that to me. and then look at it yourself. How does it appear? As objective real or as subjective real? How does it appear? Tell me. As objectively real. Okay, so objectively real means that okay, so you said that it appears as objectively real. This is correct. Let's not forget it. Now, let me give you, say, the example of a simple example, which will be very helpful for us. Let's not forget it in the future also. Let's say we watch a movie in a movie theater. How many of you have watched a movie in a movie theater? Big movie theater. Okay, how many of you have not watched a movie in a movie theater? All of us. Say you're watching a movie here. You're watching a movie of being in a garden with beautiful flowers. So you are seeing watching the movie on screen here. And where is this movie coming from? From the projector. Where's the projector? Tell me, where's the projector? Movie's here. Where's the projector? Behind you. You are right? Okay, the Yangala. Where's the projector? Behind, right? Okay, so the projector is behind you. Where's the movie is on the screen, right? So do you agree with me that movie is on the screen? Yes, no? Yes. Good. But no, movie is not from the screen. It's on the screen, not from the screen. It's from the projector. How many agree with me? Raise hands. Good. Don't forget it, right? Movie is on the screen, but not from the screen. The flower is with the object, it's not from the object. From the object means objective existence. So it's not from the object, therefore it is not objective. So say the movie projector is like the subject, your mind, the subject, and the screen is like the object. So the movie is from the projector. The projector is a metaphor for your mind, the subject, right? So movie is from the projector is subjective. It's not from the screen. It is on the screen, not from the screen. You getting it? Okay. So the flower is with the object, but it's not from the object. It's from the subject. You getting it? Let's not forget it. So, but when you look at this flower, you look at anything that is in your hands. Just look at it, or look at this flower. Okay, look at this flower. How does it appear to you? As objectively real or as subjectively real? As objectively real. You getting it? So this belief is self-grasping ignorance, and the flower, the same. When you say that yes, it appears objectively real, it makes sense to you that it appears objectively real. What do you understand by it appears objectively real? Anyone? What do you understand by this? What do you mean by that? When you said that yes, it appears objectively real, what do you mean by that? Just speak your mind. Anyone? Quick. That the flower has nothing to do with my mind. It's not dependent on my mind. It appears so solid, so real from the object. How many agree with this sense? Good. So this, that the flower exists that way, has nothing to do with my mind, but purely from the object, that's the meaning of objective existence. Now, we want to prove this is the deception. So we have to prove that this is not correct. Meaning that the flower does not exist like, although it appears like this, it does not exist like this. It exists a very different way. The movie, how many when you were small, when you were very young, like age 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, when you watch a very scary movie, you cover your head, right? You do not dare to look at the screen. Raise hands. Okay. Why you do not dare to look at the screen? Because the movie is not coming from the screen, right? Why? Why did you not dare to look at the screen? Why? As a young child, it is seen as so objectively real from the screen. Although now You know that it's coming from the projector. And it's a little boy, little girl. You know that it's coming from the projector, but when you're in the middle of the movie, you just forgot it. It appears so real from the object. You're getting it? Okay. Now, how do we evaluate to see if this flower is coming from the object or from your mind, from the subject? How do you evaluate this? How do you evaluate? Right? So what we said is that this is wrong perception. How we see is wrong. So how do we evaluate this? Trashidujila? We have to do subject to analysis. What kind of analysis? Quantum mechanics? Or neuroscience? Yes, Gabor. Oh, no, now with this flower, how when your eyes are looking at it, not now, no projector there, right? You cannot switch off your mind. Anyone else? Okay, Kabirji?
You go closer to the flower,
okay, Kabirji is saying that we have to go closer to the object. Putila? We have to analyze the ultimate. And yes. We have the ultimate, you subject to the ultimate analysis. Anyone else? Yes? Say it again. Basic understanding of what? That is the flower, that's not a chocolate. Cause and effect. Could anyone else? Education Rolla? Go closer to the object. Okay, so look, let us see. These are the things where, particularly I would say the Nalanda tradition is extremely beautiful and powerful. Whatever we study, you can actually feel it yourself. You can see that, wow, this is, I agree with this. This is how, whatever we say, we can be convinced. Just imagine that how will you evaluate? When you say how will you evaluate that, whether it exists from the object or from the subject, how do you evaluate it? So oftentimes we have all the measures, how to evaluate. These are all readily available in our day-to-day life. We have these things. The only thing is we don't know how to apply this. Right? Otherwise, say for example, you see me in water from 1 kilometer away. You see me from distance in water, and you are very curious. Is he really in water, or what I'm seeing is illusion, just a mirage? How will you evaluate this? Raise hands. How will you evaluate whether I'm in water or whether what you're seeing is mirage? Yes, Tendola? Okay, how the go close to the mirage? You already decided it's mirage? You go closer. You go closer to the object. Okay. How many agree with Kabirji and Tendola and who said, the Ajakesanla and some of you who said that? Okay, raise hands. Okay, forget about the ultimate analysis. For time, we just focus on that you are seeing me in water from 1 kilometer away. So, yes, it can be true that I'm in water, or what you're seeing may be deceptive. How do you evaluate? How will you evaluate? Nubala, how will you evaluate? Nubala is the expert.
the objective existence of the flower, right, sir?
No. You're seeing me in water, right? He's deep into emptiness, I know. Yeah. So you're from 1 kilometer away, you see me in water, and you're just wondering whether he is really in water or what are you seeing is mirage. How will you evaluate that?
Okay, for me, I would use a telescope.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay. Telescope. But if there's no telescope, then?
Then I have to go really close to it.
Okay. Don't make things complicated. Just say better right from the beginning, right? Yes.
I guess you said 1 kilometer, right?
1 kilometer away from you.
Fix that, then probably we'll be able to see if your clothes are wet.
Say it again.
We'll be able to see if your clothes are wet or not. If you reach 1 kilometer away from you.
Yes, so?
So your clothes will be wet because it's really warm.
No, from 1 kilometer you will not see whether my clothes are wet or not. You will not see.
You can zoom in the phone camera.
No, you cannot zoom. I'm a real person. I'm not a picture. Right? Okay. So the point is that, so these are the realities. This is how we evaluate to go closer to see, whether it's really the thing. Right? So, yes.
I ask myself the question then, why do I need to get closer?
Because, okay.
Why do I have the
No. First, let us put it like this. Okay, give you a question. And first, what will you do? If you see that, if you see a little child in the water from 1 kilometer away from the child, oh, this child may be drowning in the water, right? Or maybe what I'm saying is just a mirage. I don't really worry about it. But if you just ignore this, you are so compassionate. If I ignore this, and if it is really the case that the child is in the water, then I'm doing something wrong. I'm not being compassionate. So what do you do?
I have to get closer.
Closer. Yes, you're getting it. So the thing is, this is known as empirical reality. Empirical reality. So all this philosophy will make sense only if you relate this to the empirical reality, not just always keeping your conceptual thoughts. All must be relatable to the empirical reality. This is so important. You're getting it? That, in other words, any sensible person listening to you, your philosophy, this will, yes, I agree. Any sensible and smart people, right? Some people who are sensible but not too smart, not too intelligent, they may be so fascinated when you say something very strange and then, yeah, I'm confused, it must be true. But if you are very intelligent, they will just make sure that what you are saying is sensible, right? Then if you say something nonsensible, they will easily interrogate and you will identify where you are going wrong. Okay, so this is, the philosophy makes so much sense and it is of great benefit and is of great relevance, provided you are able to relate this to your day-to-day real conventional life. You're getting it? So you will go closer towards the object to see if the person is really in water or not. This is the one that we agree? What did we agree? Okay, to check if the other person is really in water or not, you go closer towards the object. Okay, now what you said is that this flower appears as objectively real. How do you evaluate this? We have to go closer to the object. You're getting it? To see if this flower exists objectively or not, then it appears as objectively real. To evaluate if it truly exists as objectively real, you have to check it. How to check it? Go closer towards the object. The mind, now look, this is the technical part. The mind which goes closer towards the object to analyze if it exists true from the object, that mind is known as ultimate analysis. And the mind which sees the object from distance, the mind which doesn't go closer, which stays distance from the object, that is known as conventional analysis. So your mind is of two kinds. Mind which goes closer towards the object to see if it exists objectively, that is known as ultimate analysis. And the mind which looks at the object without going closer towards it is known as conventional analysis. Okay, all your minds somehow can be classified into these two groups, conventional analysis and ultimate analysis. And it doesn't mean that ultimate analysis is better than conventional analysis. No, it doesn't have any connotation. Sometimes even the ultimate analysis can go wrong. You're getting it? You go too close to the object and say, yes, it exists objectively. This is disaster. Right? There's a wrong, although it's an ultimate analysis, it can go wrong. Even the conventional analysis can be right, because from what is this? Right? This is a flower, it's fine. If this is chocolate, you have to go to mental hospital. You're getting it? If conventionally, without going closer, Staying far away from this. If you look at it, see that this is a flower. It's fine. Your mental okay. If this is chocolate there, then Shamjula will take you to mental hospital. You getting it? Okay. So even conventionally, we see that some minds the conventional analysis are correct, valid. Some conventional analysis can be deceptive. Likewise, ultimate analysis, some can be deceptive, some can be valid. You getting it? Okay. But to see if the flower exists from the object or not, we have to get closer towards the object. This is the only way to evaluate if it truly exists objectively. So what is that mind known as, which goes to analyze the object to see if it exists objectively? What is that mind known as? Ultimate analysis. Very good. And what is the other mind known as? Conventional analysis. You're getting it? Okay, good. What is this? Let's say glass of water. Don't be too finicky whether it's the what juice or apple juice or what. Just say water. What is this? Glass of water. And the chemist will say this is H2O. And the physicist will say this is a bunch of electrons, protons, neutrons. Right? Who is correct? All are correct. From all, yet there are three different perceptions taking place. You agree with me or not? Three different perceptions. You're getting it? Three different perceptions. And believe it or not, that your emotions, right? I'm sad, I'm not happy, I'm scared, oh, and I'm happy. All these emotions determine whether you are a happy person or unhappy person. And these emotions, they are all dictated by your perceptions. You're getting it? They're all dictated by your perceptions. Which movie do you prefer to watch? A movie which is very pleasant. They say, where there is no, what is that? What do you call it? Graphics? What do you call that? Very scary, so way killings, all this stuff. Which movie do you prefer to watch? More peaceful one, right? Okay. Both are not true. Both are just perceptions, right? There's nothing, no real killing happening. It's just mere perception. But you prefer good movies over horrible movies. Both are equally not true, right? They are just films, right? And maybe the horrible, maybe the boring movie, maybe the quality of the film is better, right? This movie is made of, let's say, in a movie theater. These are just the films, right? You agree with me or not? And films, they can be different in the qualities. When I was little, like with many of my schoolmates here, when we were little, how many times do we have a movie screening? Once a month. That too look very boring. Not boring, I would say. Full of excitement, and excitement is easily disrupted. So the movie, in 5 minutes, the movie cut. Again we have to wait. Again the technician, what to fix it. Just in, they say 1.5 hours, there are like 20, 30 cuts. Because when it breaks, suddenly it breaks. Very terrible projector, right? But the movie can be very interesting. And the quality of these films are so bad, they break very easily. But there are some other movies, very boring movies, but the quality of the film may be so good. So, in reality, it's just the films, that's it. It's not, the movie is not really there, but we are affected. In other words, all the emotions, they are affected by the perception. You're getting it? And what is perception? Object or subject? Hey, what is the perception? Object or subject? It's purely how your mind perceives perception. You're getting it? What your mind perceives, that affects you. That decides how happy, unhappy, sad, tension, depression, anxiety, anguish, euphoric, all these are determined by your perceptions. Okay, and this you must be convinced. Don't just follow me blindly. You must be convinced. I'll give you an example. Let's say that how many of you are fond of flowers? Raise your hands. How many are fond of flowers? Oh, many of you. The boys who are fond of flowers, raise your hands. The boys who are fond of flowers, there are many of you. Okay, good. Let's say that all of us, we are very fond of flowers, right? Now look, say, be very honest. How beautiful is this flower? Say you are all very fond of flowers. How beautiful is this flower? Very beautiful. You're getting it? Let's not forget it. Okay, so better I keep it here so that you keep looking at it, and I'm not going to even touch this flower. I'm going to keep the object as it is. Right? You look at it, it's so beautiful. Right? So where's this flower? From the object. Actually, a perception is taking place in your mind. Okay, at the moment when I say is perception taking place in your mind, you may not be too convinced. Don't worry. Now, what what Nubala said, the way you look at this same object, I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to alter it. I'm going to keep it as it is, which you describe as very beautiful. Now you look at there's instead of naked eyes, you look at it through electron microscope. Look at through electron microscope and keep fine-tuning this electron microscope. First you will start that the flower which looks, the color combination is so beautiful, texture is so nice, tender, right? This is how it appears to your naked eyes. Through electron microscope, you start to see which seems as a perfect texture, the color combination, so forth, very tender. You look at electron microscope, initially you will see like the tenderness disappears. You will see the cracks, like the dry clay, the muddy land, what cracks of the air. This is what you're going to see, the cracks of the air. And I'm not altered this object from the very tender, nice to and made it very, like cracky. No, I didn't even touch it. I keep it as it is. But through electron microscope, first you see it as with the cracks. What are these cracks? These are the cell membranes, the partition of the cells. You're getting partition of the cells. Then through further fine-tuning electron microscope, you see the partition of cells very clearly and the cells very prominently. And then through further fine-tuning this, you could see the nucleus, the cytoplasm, cell membrane. And the nucleus, through further fine-tuning electron microscope, you see within the nucleus, you see the chromosomes. Right? And the chromosomes, how you see depicted in the biology books, biology textbooks, like eggs, it's not like that. In reality, it's very different. It's like a very brownish, striped, like snakes. This is what it's like. So when you see that structure, then what is your emotional feeling? What is your emotional reaction like? Repulsion comes to you. You're getting it? Same object now gives rise to repulsion. Emotionally, you feel repulsed by the object, like this. Same object. Earlier, which triggered joy in you, now the same object gives you repulsion, a sense of repulsion. Through further fine-tuning this, the chromosomes, you see that they are made of DNA molecules. And through further fine-tuning this, you see that it's just a bunch of atoms. Okay, stay there. When the atoms are not beautiful, atoms are not repulsive. So it's neutral. Now you have a neutral feeling. Look, the same object gives rise to 3 different emotions within the same person. Let me repeat it. The same object gives rise to 3 different emotions within the same person. Right? Initially, attachment or liking, then aversion, then neutral. Okay, what made the difference? There must be a factor which made the difference. What is that factor that makes the difference? perception. You're getting it? Initially, the object is perceived as very attractive, nice. In the second case, it is perceived as very repulsive. And third one, perceived as neutral. The perceptions trigger all this. It's the same object. Object per se did not trigger these emotions. You getting it? If the object per se triggers the emotions, then whatever emotion that is triggered, like attachment, it should remain like be sustained. Aversion sustains the aversion. But no, the same object, without altering it, it can give, within a short span of time, we see that there's a change in your emotional reactions. With the same object, with the same person. So what is that factor? It's the perception. And that perception is object or from the subject? Perception means with the subject. It's purely from the subject. So how things appear with the perception, that decides your emotions. Attachment, anger, jealousy, fear, happy, euphoric, sense of victory, and so forth. All these things are determined by their perception. Perception purely the subjective. You're getting it? So this will give us a great understanding that, okay, so my emotions are determined by my perception, not by the object. Not by the object. This is something that we have to reflect on more and more often. So with this, we see that if you think more on this, then gradually you gain command, you can control over your emotions. Because usually how do the emotions arise? For example, this person is so unkind, right? This weather is so bad. So we always look for the object as the main trigger of your emotions. Now we discover it's not the object, it's the perception of the object. You're getting it? Perception of object that trigger these emotions. So this is what we need to recognize. Okay. So with this, now we talked about ultimate analysis and conventional analysis. Okay, what is that ultimate analysis? What qualifies the ultimate analysis? What do you mean by ultimate analysis? Anyone? Very quick. Yes, Chelsea. How many agree with Chelsea? Raise hands. Okay, if you cannot hear, then this is Dongala on this side. Yes. What is the ultimate analysis? Did you hear? It's worse. Right? His one is like a formula. Only few words, meanings are all condensed there. Right? Okay. Say it again. Close up observe. Beautiful words. Thank you. Close up observation. In other words, it's a mind which observes the same object by going closer to the object. Close up observation. Let's all learn this word from this boy. Right? Close up observation. Beautiful word. Okay. Next question. Ready? Okay, how many agree with this? The meaning of the ultimate analysis is a mind, or the analysis or the mind which observes the object or which apprehends the object by going closer to the object. How many agree with this as the meaning of ultimate analysis? Good. My next question to you is, why do you call this mind as ultimate analysis? Why? Why do you give this label ultimate analysis? Why? Chanjula, yes?
To remove the subjectivity, remove the subjective perception, which is false.
No, it should not be actually why. Oh yeah, it's a why. So why this word ultimate is this, with the two analysis, ultimate and conventional analysis, why this approach is known as ultimate analysis? Why? Okay, Chola Dendola. Okay. Anyone else? Yes, Tudin Samanla.
If you go with the word itself, then ultimate means after that there's no other analysis.
Okay, ultimate means ultimate. Beyond this, there's nothing really there. So
that's why it's called that.
So that's why this analysis is known as ultimate, because beyond this, then you cannot find anything. That's the ultimate. Okay. So in a way, what I'm asking is, I'm trying to look for the etymology. You're getting it? Etymology. Why these labels are given? Ultimate analysis. Why we call it as ultimate? You know? Reasons? Okay, Pemasirinla. Huh? Because this mind is trying to look at the final truth. That makes sense? Final truth? Yes, Sharmilaji?
Because you have gone beyond conventionality.
Okay, so here, okay, let's see, this is all very helpful. This will, you don't underestimate somebody else give an answer, right? Just listen to them and see if it makes sense to you. They will give all different shades of meaning. What Sharmilaji is saying is that, say, oh, this is a flower, this is a house, or you have to drive on the left lane. In India, it's left lane, right? Okay, left lane. These are all conventions. So, convention means that if you go too deep towards convention, purely from the subject. Convention is from the subject. So, if you go away from the subject, you're going towards the opposite of convention. What's the opposite of convention? Ultimate. So going closer to the object is ultimate, going closer to the subject is conventional. You're getting it? This is how Sharmiji explains. Okay, Dunla. Sorry? Because this mind is the one which looks for the ultimate truth, right? Okay. Yes.
Geshe, because it thoroughly establishes the objective or ontological reality.
Okay, this is known as the ultimate analysis because this is the only way, this analysis, going closer to the object will allow you to see what is really there from the object. From the object, not being influenced by the subject. From the object was there, the ontology, ontological reality, the objective. What is from the object, what is there. This is what you are looking at. This is known as the ultimate. Okay, anyone else? Yes, sir? Because this is the one which is examined. This is the only way by which to see if the object exists as intrinsically real. Good. Yes, Nicola?
Because it moves away from the subjectivity to find the objectivity of the object, which is its ultimate way of existing.
Okay, so you are going, as you go close to the object, you are going away from the subject towards the object. So away from the subject equals the convention. You're going away from the convention. Opposite convention is the ultimate. So you are looking for the objectivity of the object. Okay, Gabor?
I think it's called ultimate because once this analysis is concluded, no more analysis will be.
Okay, well, this is ultimate because once you do this analysis, that is a final. Beyond this, there is no more analysis left. Very good. This is Omala.
So with this analysis, there is no room for any mistake or error. So that's like.
Are you sure? Okay, let's say that. Okay, does it exist objectively? Then I go close to the object, right? Yes, it does exist objectively, right? Is it is deception or not? It's deception. It's wrong, right? Okay, Sanjukta.
Geshe, after the ultimate analysis, the truth doesn't change. Whereas for conventional analysis, there are different perceptions.
Oh, when you say where you reach the level and then that truth does not change, that is known as ultimate truth. Whereas there is another level of the reality which is a truth but which can change. For example, the traffic rules, or for example the government rules. For example, about the rule for the tax. Tax, it can also change. And what are the rules that can change? Or for example, the football rules, they change or not change? Right? It's been revised, changed. Okay.
This is the finest examination of the quality of object beyond which it cannot be examined further.
Okay, this is the finest examination or analysis beyond which you cannot, there's no way by which to examine. Okay, good. Yes.
With the ultimate analysis, we can figure out the absence of
So with the ultimate analysis, only then you can find the absence of objective existence. So therefore it is the ultimate analysis. Very good. Okay. So let me say that the, okay, let's say the ultimate has the connotation of final. Yes? Final. And let me give you one example. Say if you are hiring, if you are the vice chancellor of a university. Just imagine that you are vice chancellor of university. Right? You're vice chancellor of university and you have to hire a physics professor. Right? Hire professor. And all others are your colleagues, other professors under you. And the candidates, they come one by one. Candidate A comes. Okay. Then you as the main interviewer, you ask the candidate A, what is the number of protons of oxygen atom, right? And then they say, I'm the candidate. And by the way, anyone who knows that? Huh? Okay, 8. Okay, I trust Parag. Okay, let's say 8. Say, then let's say I'm the interviewee and you're the interviewer, the main, you're the vice chancellor. And you said, what is the number of the protons of oxygen atom? And I got stuck, right? And then Niraji, he said that, Geshe, this is actually what you were discussing. You were teaching all the other students that the oxygen has 8 protons. Oh, yes. Yeah, you're right, Niraj. Yeah, 8 protons. And you are very unhappy. Because the answer came from me or the answer came from Niraj? Came from your colleague, not from the employee, right? Interviewee. Then you ask, what is the famous equation of Albert Einstein? Again, I was about to say something else, right? I'm about to say that the speed equals distance by time. About to say this, and then again, Nicola said that, oh, last time we were discussing on this, right? This intense discussion, Geshe equals mc square, intense discussion, how we derive this, and you were about to teach us how to derive it. Yes, it's equals mc square. Are you happy or not happy? Hey, are you happy or not happy? You're not happy. Why? Because the answer is not coming from the object, from the person, from the interviewee, right? And then what you said is that, okay, now if any of the colleagues interfere here, then I will disqualify this person, right? Okay, what is the atomic number of gold? Now, if you say something, finish, I'll be disqualified. So I have no answer coming from me. Now you know how much I know. You know how much the person, the object knows. What is his degree of knowledge? 0. No answer. You're getting it? So what is the degree of the knowledge? 0 knowledge is the degree of his knowledge. Right? 0 objectivity is the objectivity of the object. Empty of objectivity is the objectivity of the object. It makes some sense? Some sense? Something similar? 0 knowledge is the degree of my knowledge. You understand? That is very simple. This is not philosophy. That I don't know anything is the degree of my knowledge. You agree with me or not?
Yes.
That I don't know anything of physics is the degree of my knowledge. You getting it? So that I don't exist objectively is the objectivity of the object. That I don't exist objectively is the objectivity of the object. Do you see some similarity there? Some similarity? If you see some similarity, then some degree of self-grasping ignorance is crashed. Right? If you get a little confused, don't worry. Right? This indicates that, wow, this is something, the neuroscientist in Israel, so he is so fascinated by this, so I must be fascinated by this eventually. Right? Okay, so the point is that ultimate analysis. So now you know how much I ultimately know. You're getting it? Now you know how much I ultimately know. Now you know how much finally I know. Finally, ultimately, they have the same connotation. You're getting it? Okay. So same, if the flower does exist from the object, then you have to go closer to the object. If you want to know how much I know, you have to check me, not influenced by any others. Then you know finally how much I know. You're getting it? So this says objectivity has a connotation of finality. Objectivity has a connotation of the say what is ultimate, not influenced by the others. You're getting it? So this analysis to see what is there on the object is known as ultimate analysis. Okay. Now by looking at this object, how does this object appear to you? As objective real, as objectively existent, or subjectively existent? As objectively existent. If it does exist objectively, then it should be seen by ultimate analysis. Okay, your mind is hanging? Your mind hangs? Yes, it does happen like this, right? Okay, so it's like your mind comes from the peak of existence. Right, it moves very slow. Yes, sometimes the computer does behave like this, right? You give the order and it comes and it keeps buffering, which means it's thinking, right? And the answer comes very slow. Sometimes so nowadays, lucky, it never happened. Otherwise, many years ago, I can't have the patience. I give the command, right? How are you? I'm very happy. So things are going well here. And the computer is not showing anything. And then I wait, oh no, I should change this word. Then it's saying, right, I try to delete. I delete. And then I try something else. The old version is coming up. And then, okay, it's fine. So this is fine. I can change this. You try to change it. And again, it goes back, deleted, everything deleted. Right? This how our mind does exactly like this, right? Our mind also operates like it hangs sometimes. Okay, so with this, now the point is that to see if the flower exists objectively or not, we have to subject the mind to ultimate analysis, right? What do you mean by subjecting the flower to ultimate analysis? To go closer to the object. How do we go closer to the object? This is what we have to do. You're getting it? Okay, this is so important. So before this, I like to challenge you with this question again. Okay, say of these three perceptions, the naked eyes see this as water, and let's say physicists would see this as, let's say, particle physicists will see this as electrons, protons, neutrons. And if you are to classify these two perceptions, which would you call as the ultimate analysis and which would you call as the conventional analysis? Computer is hanging? It hangs? Did you follow the question? Yes, no? No, yes? Let me repeat it. Say, our naked eyes see this as a water, and the physicists, particle physicists, would see this as a bunch of electrons, protons, neutrons. So these two perceptions are there, these two analyses are there, and if you are to put these two into one of the two, ultimate analysis, one as ultimate analysis, other one's conventional analysis, which would you put to which of the two? Physicist version is the ultimate analysis and the naked eye's perception as conventional analysis. How many of you agree with Ajit? Keep all raise hands. Okay, good. What about those people who do not raise hands? You're tired? Okay. Okay. How many agree with Ajit? Keep all raise hands again. Gabor, you don't agree? Why not?
I don't think either of my
No, this is not my question. If you are to. Okay, if you are to raise hands. If. Okay, good. Now, we see that the say the mind we see. Okay, so we see that the same object is seen in two different ways. Ultimate analysis, conventional analysis sees this as water, and ultimate analysis is a bunch of, let's say, electrons, protons, neutrons. In other words, no water. Where is water? It's just electrons, protons, neutrons. You getting it? No water. Okay, with respect to water, if I ask a question, say group A, group B. Group A looks at it through your naked eyes. Group B looks at it through electron microscope. With respect to the water, give an answer. Is this water? Group A? Yes. Group B, is this water? No, just bunch of electrons, protons, and neutrons. You don't see any water there. You're getting it? Which of the two perceptions is correct? Both are correct. Now, how come that there's such a... Okay. I'm going to give you a question. Is it going to be a challenge? Is this flower or non-flower? Okay, if somebody says this non-flower, is the person correct or not correct? Not correct. Is it water or not water? Water. It's water. Those who said it's not water is wrong. Right? Those who look at electron microscope, they're wrong. Huh? Because that there's no water there. The object cannot be water as well as non-water. It cannot be. Right? If it's water, it cannot be non-water. If it's non-water, it cannot be water. You agree with me or not? Yes. Is this chocolate or not? No. This is not chocolate. Why? This is a flower. So if it's a flower, it cannot be non-flower. You agree? Yes. Okay. Louder. Yes. If it is a flower, it cannot be non-flower. Yes. If it is water, it cannot be non-water. Yes. Hey, louder. Yes. Okay. Group A, Group B. Hey, Group A, what is this? Water. Group B, what is this? Non-water, right? Because you are looking at it through an electron microscope. So which means is it water or non-water? Group B says that both. So this is flower and non-flower both. Is it? You said that if it is flower, it cannot be non-flower. You said it already. With a similar tone of reasoning, if it's water, it cannot be non-water. You agree or not agree? Okay, so it's water or not? Group A will say this is water. Group B will say this is non-water. Who's correct? Both cannot be correct. Huh? It's water. So, but they're saying it's not non-water. Huh?
Parts of water.
Huh?
The parts of water.
For you, there's no water. How can they be parts of water? Right? If there's no elephant, how can they be parts of the elephant?
One is conventional analysis, the other is
Okay. So now this is the answer that should come. That same with the same analysis, with respect to the same analysis, no two opposite answers are possible with one object. With the same analysis, with the conventional analysis, you cannot say that this is a flower as it's non-flower. But with two different analysis, the two different perceptions are possible. You getting it? For example, let's say, Chelsea, what's your mother's name?
Norma.
Norma. What is your mother's name?
Yvette.
Yvette. Okay. If I ask Yvette, what is Norma? Is she mother or daughter? She will say, oh, of course she's a daughter. If I ask Chelsea, she says, oh, she's mother, right? The same object can be described as a mother and daughter with respect to two different frames of reference. You're getting it? But dependence on two different frames of reference, the same object can be described in two different ways. Likewise, the same object, but dependence on the two different frames of reference, meaning two different analyses, the same object can be seen in two different ways. There is no contradiction. But with one frame of reference, you cannot describe this in two different ways. You're getting it? So, this flower, non-flower. You know, if you say this flower, it cannot be non-flower with respect to the same analysis. With respect to two different analyses, then this flower and the other analysis we say this non-flower. Both are correct. You're getting it? So from this, do you agree with me that the flower or non-flower is just, you know, how come that there are two different descriptions happening? How come? Because of two different perceptions. Very good. Okay, perception is object or subject?
Subject.
Louder.
Subject.
Very good. Now my question to you is, okay, group A, you perceive this as a flower. Group B, you will perceive this as empty of being a flower. You're getting through electron microscope. Okay, and you said that these two are both perceptions, right? I am not interested in perception, I'm interested in the object. You're getting it? Remove the two perceptions. I'm interested in the object. What is this object? Tell me. Removing the two perceptions. Flower, because with respect to your perception, right? So I said remove the perception. What is this? Huh? Atoms. Atoms also with respect to the conventional analysis, which sees this as atoms. You're getting it? Again, it's a conventional analysis. So removing these perceptions. So what is this object? Huh? Okay, empty of object exists. Which means this is not a flower. Remove the perceptions, this is not a flower. Okay, my question is, if the ultimate analysis is also removed, because those who said is empty of object exists is also with respect to ultimate analysis. Remove the ultimate analysis also. What is this object? Huh? Joanna? A flower. That is with respect to the ultimate conventional analysis. I said remove that perception. What is this object? I'm only interested in object, not in the subjects. Right? Remove these two perceptions. What is this? Nothing's there. So nothing is there is there. Nothing's there is there. Empty of what? Empty of object of flower is there. So that empty of objective existence of flower, it is with respect to the ultimate analysis. So I say even that is perception with respect to ultimate analysis. Remove that. Emptiness is also seen by the ultimate analysis. Remove that perception. What is this?
Nothing. Emptiness of emptiness.
Yes, Sharminaji. Okay, so what Sharmiji is saying, that object makes no sense to be existent, non-existent, both existent, non-existent, neither exists, non-existent, makes no sense if the analysis is not included. If the analysis is not put into the scene, it makes no sense there. It's because of this that the ultimate reality of the object is described as indescribable. It can be described as permanent, impermanent, both permanent and impermanent. It cannot be described as not permanent, non-impermanent as well. This is known as indescribable. You getting it? Okay. This, when it's sensed that, then you see that there's nothing there from the object to affect your mind. You're getting it? It is like waking up from the sleep of ignorance. When you wake up from the sleep of ignorance, nothing in the dream can affect you at all. You're getting it? Because you know that there's nothing from the dream, it's all come from the subject. Nothing from the object, from the dream. Then your fears dissolve. You're getting it? This is so important. Okay. Yes.
What was exactly the sentence? The nature of the object is indescribable.
Indescribable.
The nature of the object.
Okay, yes. Ultimate nature. Ultimate nature of thing is described as indescribable.
Geshe, you used a few other adjectives when you were describing.
Okay, when I use the different adjectives, make sure that you catch them, because I may not remember.
I watched the record.
Okay, good. Okay.
Once you had called it also inexpressible. Same.
What did I say?
Inexpressible.
In those days. Today, what did I say? Oh, same?
Same.
Yes. Indescribable, inexpressible. Yes. Very good. Okay. Now, our job is to see if let's say the flower exists objectively. So we're done with the first essential. Now, how to analyze if the flower exists objectively? How to evaluate that? Hey, hey, use the technical terms now.
Ultimate analysis.
What ultimate analysis is good, ultimate analysis is bad? Subject the flower to ultimate analysis. Give me a complete sentence, right? Just ultimate analysis, it doesn't mean anything. Ultimate analysis is good, or ultimate analysis not good, bad, right? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by so subject the flower to how to evaluate if the flower exists as objectively or not by subjecting the flower to ultimate analysis. Okay. So what do you mean by subjecting the flower to ultimate analysis? Hey, what do you mean by subjecting the flower to ultimate analysis? So then you have to explain it in easy words. Go closer towards the object. Okay. Going closer to the object, do you agree with me that you end up seeing the atoms? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes? Or you end up seeing the atoms. And even you can go even beyond that. Even beyond atoms also. Atoms also made of electrons, protons, neutrons. As of now, the physics, the particle physics, they talk about the indivisible, what is that? Okay, so for time being, they would, what is thus far identified as indivisible particles, as quarks, electrons. So in fact, they are of the same size. Electron is the size of the quarks. So these are referred to as the indivisible. Thus far. In future, we never know. Thus far, for physics, these are the indivisible, because we don't have that the instruments to divide them further, right? So these are the indivisible, but they are not partless. They are indivisible, but they are not partless. They have parts. You're getting it? We need to make a distinction between the partless particles and the indivisible particles. So electron, protons, neutrons, as of now, we can say that they are indivisible particles, but they are not partless particles. They have parts. You're getting it? Okay. So you can divide them into parts. You can divide them into parts. They have parts. So with this, let's say that we end up seeing the atoms, and we can go further. It's not necessary that, you just stop there. You can go further if you like. And you can even, you don't even have to go to the level of the atoms. You can even stop before that also. Okay, let's say the atoms. We reach the level of the atoms. Say earlier what you see as a beautiful flower is not just a pool of atoms, right? Okay, now you have come too close to the object. So now if you tell me that you have taken my Rolex watch, it is in your hand now. How many hands I have? 2 hands there. So I said, no, I don't have your Rolex. No, why should I take your Rolex watch? It's in your hand right now. Two hands are there. So I open the first hand, it's empty. It may be in the second hand. Then I open the second hand, it's also empty. So this rules out his claim that I have the Rolex watch in my hand right now. You agree? No, because these are only two options. Likewise, if the flower does exist objectively, there are only two options. If the flower does exist objectively, there are only two options. One is either the atoms that you find, these should be the flower. Are they the flower? First atom, second atom, third atom, they are not the flowers. These flowers are very beautiful. Atoms are not beautiful, right? Atoms are not the flower. But atoms are the parts of the flower. Do you agree? Atoms are the parts of the flower. And how many of you agree that, oh, these atoms are not the flower? If you agree, they are the parts of the atom, parts of the flower, but they are not the flower. Raise hands. Good. So if you know that, and who is saying this? The atoms are not these atoms are not the flower. Who is saying this? Ultimate analysis or conventional analysis? Ultimate analysis. So ultimate analysis is saying that from the object, now I've come too close to the object, from the object, atoms are not to be identified as the flowers. Atoms are not the flowers. In other words, in simple terms, atoms are not the flowers. So when you say atoms not flowers, with respect to the ultimate analysis, these two are different. Atoms are not flowers with respect to ultimate analysis, and atoms not flowers with respect to conventional analysis is very different. You getting it? So atoms are not a flower with respect to ultimate analysis is saying atoms are not objectively the flower. You getting it? Because ultimate analysis is looking for whether things exist objectively or not. So atoms are not objectively the flower. Atoms are not objective flower means atoms are not objectively one with the flower. Right? So what is the second essential? Essential of understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically one with the parts. Intrinsically meaning objectively one with the parts. Objective from the object, the parts and the flowers cannot be seen as one, right? Cannot be seen as one, which means, to make it very simple, it simply means from the object, the atoms are not the flower, right? This is very as simple as that. From the object, the atoms are not the flower, right? If you understood this, you have understood the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically one with its parts. Okay. Now the second option, like the two hands, there are only two options. First one is the atom should be the flower. If the atoms are not the flower, then different from the atom should be the flower, from the object. So how do you check if the flower exists as different from the atoms? Remove the atoms. You remove all the atoms, what is left? Nothing is left there. Nothing is left there. So which means atoms are not different from the flower is not different from the parts. Flower is not different from the parts and from the object, because these all with respect to the ultimate analysis from the object, the flower is not different from the parts, which means the flower is not intrinsically different from the parts. Okay, so let us go slowly. You're getting it? Number one, the essential number two. Essential understanding the emptiness of objects being one, intrinsically one with its parts. Okay, let us slowly go with this. How many of you agree that when you subject the flower to ultimate analysis, you end up seeing the atoms? Raise hands. If you understood this, okay. This is Bindola, you got it? Let me say it slowly. It's not difficult. When you subject the flower to ultimate analysis using the electron microscope, you end up seeing the atoms. Yes? You agree? You end up seeing the atoms. So on that atomic level, where's the flower? No way to be seen. Flower is not seen. You agree? You agree? On the atomic level. You agree? Okay. So you have, because you have come too close to the object, And if the flower does exist objectively, now you should find the object. You should find the flower there. What do you find? You find the atoms. Are the atoms in the flower? No. This is one possibility how the flower can exist objectively, but atoms are not the flower. So if the flower still exists objectively, then it must exist as different from the atoms. Remove the atoms. You find it or not find? You cannot find it. Nothing is left there. So which means it is not different from the atoms also. It is not same as the atoms. It is not different from the atoms. So from the object, where's the flower? Hey, from the object, where's the flower? No, the flower disappears. You're getting it? Now you have come too close to the object through ultimate analysis. You say from the object there's no flower to be seen. So this is known as the flower being empty objectively. From the object, the flower is empty. You're getting it? So this is known as emptiness of the objective existence of the flower. Right? Okay. Before I leave this here, I'd like to share you an anecdote. You like to listen? Interesting anecdote. You like to listen or not?
Yes.
Wow. With the anecdote, there's energy to the voice, right? It's anecdote you have to apply to yourself, right? Okay. Anecdote was when I was in my 20s. When I was in my 20s, my teacher, in my 20s, somebody invited me to give a Dharma talk to a group of soldiers, Ladakhi soldiers, group of Ladakhi soldiers. And I was totally inexperienced. I was in my 20s. I was totally inexperienced. I must be in my mid-20s, 26, 27. And I was totally inexperienced, right? And yet, hot blood, right? Full of energy and enthusiasm. Oh, Dharma, I must take them to Buddhahood right away, right? There's the enthusiasm. And I've only 1 hour with them. And then after this, I will not get, we will not meet. Oh, I must help them, so much energy and totally inexperienced. What I learned the last 10 years, I try to just vomit in 1 hour. Right? And particularly there was the soldier who was assigned, whose work was to take care of the small local temple in the, what do you call that? Army camp. In the army camp. Cantonment, yes. So there was a small temple there, Buddhist temple there. Moses is a Ladakhi scout, what do you call it? Scout. And then particularly, and he must be, I was in my 20s, and he must be in his 50s, right? And he seemed so pious, right? And then particularly he's so devoted, dedicated, I must teach everything. Whatever I learned last 10 years, I must vomit here to him, so he could become enlightened, right? And there's so much enthusiasm, I thought. And then he was not sleeping, he was not drowsy, he was so, with freshly, he was looking at me, watching, listening. And after about 1 hour, I saw that the eyelids, they started to fold. Eyelids started to fold. What happened? So his brain was totally working, very different from what it was working the last 50 years. For the first time, I was so confused, right? And somehow the eyelids, they just folded, double folded. I stopped right there. Then I realized that I can't expect somebody in 50s, and I learned this the last 10 years in my 20s. I can't expect to teach that within 1 hour, right? I just double folded. I can see something of this kind here also. Okay, we stop here.
I have a request, please. In a class you had mentioned going to a prison and talking to soldiers. Would this be a good time to please tell us about it?
Okay, so we will do it in the afternoon session. Okay, remind me again. Tirtha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Swahatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata